Hello, my name is Brian Abbott, and my company is VerTec. And VerTec stands for Vertical Technology. And the reason for the name is that I plan to bring cannabis extraction technology, and preferably the butane closed loop system, and include this crucial step with cannabis retailers. So just bringing it all under one roof. As a TEM major, I see it kind of my duty to clean up the horizontal structure of the cannabis industry infancy. It's just spread a little thin with too many companies in the market and not enough under the same business name or license. And I plan to do that. I want to bring it all to a level of smooth business verticality. I want to teach retailers basically how to implement that step to bring everything under one roof. Alright, so what Vertex aimed to solve is to bridge the gap between the horizontal structure and to create a snowball effect in the market so we can move extractions to being included in the pre-retail business license. And what I mean by the horizontal structure within the cannabis industry is that every step of processing for cannabis requires a separate state license due to procedural differences between, say, like if you're extracting, you require chemistry, bio lab licenses, stuff like that. When you're creating edibles, you got to have FDA approved items. Well, not necessarily FDA approved items, but they do have to pass inspection. And then say you blow glass, that's a whole different safety requirement and a state license as well. It doesn't even have to be associated with cannabis. All right, so the reason for businessmen not partnering early on in the industry is because of the sensitive information regarding every patentable procedure. So a retailer would not release his sales secrets, meanwhile the extract expert would not so much as crack a door to the public eye. But what we're seeing now is 2 years into retail sales, this is no longer the case. Grow Bibles can be found on shelves at Barnes& Noble, and a simple Google search for butane extractions can lead you down the largest rabbit hole, which is pretty much what I've done for the last 2 years of my life. Now, as part of a cannabis retailer, I believe the market is flooded with enough information assistance that hopefully we can begin to bring all these services under one roof, one license, and start building one growing culture instead of multiple divisions. So as you can see at the bottom of the slide, our hypothesis really includes, is vertically integrating a cannabis extraction division feasible, cost versus profit, for commercializing a cannabis retail outlet? And not only really is it feasible, but is that really the direction we should go in commercializing cannabis retail outlets? And I'll break it down a little bit. Basically, just from Nectar's perspective, shipping times and costs are currently high with, we have 800 item sourcing and 16 shops around the state that require fulfillments weekly. The current structure has Nectar purchasing product from a vendor, receiving that product, either packaging that product, or developing another product with that product, and then finally shipping that product to the retailer. If we were to include extractions instead, we could focus on R&D and commercial development, because most products and procedures that we source are because we don't have extraction. Once extraction is included, the material will be grown, extracted, and product will be produced, packaged, and shipped from one single location, when before products could see 5, maybe 6, even sometimes 7 up to 10 different locations before making it to the consumer. So as we saw at the beginning of legalization, some concentrates could be found well above $100 a gram. 2 years later, that same concentrate goes for $25 a gram. My goal is to further reduce that to $5 a gram. We must reduce packaging, shipping, and extract resourcing to make that happen. So how did I come to this conclusion of needing to vertically integrate an extraction division into these retailers? So right now I currently work for Nectar Markets LLC, and we are Oregon's largest vertical cannabis retailer. Our vertical structure does include 7 growing operations, 5 of which are under the Applegate Valley, Oregon name, and 2 of which are under Happy Camp. We do have shipping under our name as well. It's known as Sunshine Shipping. We have storage up in Portland known as Airport Way. And then we do have 16 retail locations under the name Nectar Cannabis, as well as an edible division in which we create 5 cookie variants, and that is known as 40 to 5. The example of why extracting should be our next focus is because the implementation and growth of our newly developed edible division, actually. Previously, Nectar had been sourcing cookie edibles to pay about $2.13 per cookie, when we are now producing our own cookies at 31 cents. So we have trimmed the overhead on producing these cookies significantly. So cookies after extraction growth then will only cost Nectar approximately 16 cents. So we can bring that original price of $2.13 all the way down to 16 cents when we plan to still sell these cookies at $10 a cookie with 50 milligrams of product in it, because that still matches our competitors' pricing and potency. Along with being able to lower the price and overhead on our cookies, extracted material can also be made into lotions, salves, gummies, chocolates, RSOs, tinctures, or even sold as a standalone item for medical patients, or even for the more serious recreational user. So the fact is, once we implement this extraction division, the R&D and development pretty much goes through the roof. Our future is in the hands of anyone at that point. So why will bringing vertical integration for extraction work? Well, flower sales show a strong correlation with concentrates, and all concentrates are is reduced flour, obviously. So when flower sales go down, concentrate sales go up, and vice versa. So the reason for this is, as you consume anything too much, your body requires more of it to feel an effect. Cannabis does this to the extreme. So as you consume flower for long periods of time, the effects begin to decrease and you require a concentrated form of that product, or just another product altogether. And now I say product, but as many people know with cannabis, that can also mean strain differences, strain variances, just a difference in the terpene profiles and THC-CBD ratios. Nectar must begin to extract their own flower to stay with that trend, so we can just take our own flower product that people don't want and concentrate it. And then as people don't want concentrate, we just stop concentrating that product and sell it as flower. And I don't want to beat the horizontal market to death, but it needs to be resolved by businesses including more licensing for different cannabis processes. There we go. They should and always should. The BHO processes with a closed loop extractor is both safe and easy to operate. What VerTec plans to deliver to their investors is a layout of how this vertical structure should be implemented, how to implement it, a list of overhead purchases. We will be the first team, and then hire and train a team to replace us and move on. And I say move on because as we do this for our initial investors and for future investors, each branch of Nectar Markets will need to replicate this process due to state restrictions and federal regulations. As other states become legal and markets expand, so will our processes. We will continue to hire and train teams for individual branches to always reduce the need for future product sourcing. So basically you have the state of Oregon, and as the state of Oregon becomes flooded, we can't ship that product to another state. So say Idaho opens up right next door, what we have to do is create a whole nother team, whole nother resale team, whole nother storage team, whole nother shipping team, and a whole nother extraction team. And when we go to do this, we will build that team up, hire that team, purchase those overhead products, and do the same implementation. And then along with all this, you don't need to be an expert, but when you're done, no one will tell. I've only done about 4 extractions myself, 4 days worth of extractions myself, and I'm already meeting the quality of the current market. I only did about 2 years of research and education, and then actually just bought my own process and started doing this myself. It is very easy to replicate. It is very safe when done in a closed loop process. Just don't be near an open source of flame. Alright, so the team and why we're able to get this completed and why we think we can pull this off. I'm Brian Evans, so I'm going to be the entrepreneur, the TEM major part of this group. Basically, I started off as a Marine back in 2009, and I was a communications technician, and I worked within a warehouse where we had, I think it was like $23 million worth of the end item products in which we used to repair radios and communication equipment, including SATCOM and VHF, UHF, that sort of thing. So I understand how to run inventory, how to run massive amounts of inventory, how to keep it 100% correct, and then how to also manage about 50 to 60 Marines employees below me as well. So I'm really good at being able to structurally make an inventory system work and make it flow, and I think I know how to develop efficiencies. Benjamin George, he's our cannabis retail genius. He knows metric, he knows FlowHub, he knows our point of sales. He understands vendors, he has the connections, he knows who to talk to. He's originally from Arizona. He started growing there. He's just the amount of information I've gotten from this guy on how to grow, how to extract, how to develop our extraction company has been remarkable. Reed Cowden, he's our nerd guru. He graduated from University of Oregon with a 4.3 GPA. I think it was summa cum laude. And that was in anthropology. He just likes to read and write, know everything it pertains to human evolution, that sort of thing, and just bio and plants and what has made humans evolve to the point where they are. And cannabis is a huge part of that. And he's currently moved back to Oregon State University, where he's actually developing his thesis in agricultural development and working with the forestry department in figuring out how to more efficiently work nutrients in the ground and sustain the environment that way. We plan to basically scale this model eventually later to be able to do massive hemp crops and that sort of thing, and to develop other products later in the future. But with the three of us, I'm sure we can develop a business plan that can remarkably implement the vertical extraction division within Nectar. Thank you.